Hi there everybody and welcome back to your latest Newcastle United news right here on the Toon Review YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Right then, Anthony Gordon, ladies and gentlemen, who of course has not started a game since he got sent off against Brighton all those many moons ago, which unfortunately made him miss the cup final. He did of course come back for England, made a substitute appearance, but got injured within 5 minutes of being on the field, and it was quite a nasty injury, very, very heavy bruising. The England manager certainly said that it was a bad injury and he could miss a bit of play. But of course he was suspended still for domestic games, so really he had a bit of time to get himself fit. Now it's been revealed that he is now carrying a knee injury. Despite coming on yesterday, there's no way at the moment that Anthony Gordon is capable of starting games. Which is a bit of a worry because you look at the way Isak's playing at the moment. He doesn't look 100% fit at all. That's just my opinion. He might be 100% fit, but to me, he doesn't look it. He doesn't really look it when he's on the ball or when he's making runs. But we've got to play Isak because these games are so bloody huge. And there's nobody else to step in for Isak at the moment. Callum Wilson, just no. There's no way that you can start Callum Wilson ahead of Isak. But it's the time of the season sometimes where you've got to patch these players up and get them out on the field. But Eddie Howe revealed after the game that, of course, Anthony Gordon is suffering from a knee problem. He was asked about Harvey Barnes first of all. And he said that Harvey Barnes has been outstanding since he's been called upon. I think he grabbed it with both hands and that's all he can do. And that's good from Eddie. That's good to hear because earlier on in the season, of course, Harvey Barnes scored a couple of goals and then was dropped, which was a little bit unfortunate for Harvey Barnes, but he's had a good run in the side now and he looks a really talented player. He's doing the job and doing it very, very well. Personally, I think he's a better finisher than Anthony Gordon. I don't know how you feel about that. He's certainly not got the pace of Anthony Gordon, but for me, he's a better finisher. And I think when Gordon came on yesterday, you saw that Gordon had a couple of shots that nowhere near on target, and Harvey's just seems to be more clinical in front of goal. But it's two brilliant players to have in your squad. It's as simple as that. But at the same time, despite him coming on yesterday, Eddie revealed that Gordon has a knee injury. He said, I don't think Anthony is still 100% match fit. This week in training, he's still aware of some feeling in his knee. So we need to protect him and make sure that when we bring him back into the team, that he's 100% fit. Now, of course, there's only 4 games left. And the situation is, you cannot dislodge Harvey Barnes or Jacob Murphy out of the side. So really, it's not too bad. But if anything happens to Jacob Murphy or Harvey Barnes in these last couple of games where we need Anthony Gordon to step up, at the minute, he's not 100% match fit and can't start games. So that is a worry to me. The good news yesterday was, of course, Sven Botman coming back. That was brilliant news. But unfortunately, Gordon has now picked up a little bit of a knock, and the knee, we don't want to take any chances because we've seen that we've taken chances in the past and they've badly backfired on us, by the way. So I think Newcastle have got to be very, very careful what to do with Anthony Gordon, which is why he's not starting games. And it's a pretty straightforward decision for Eddie anyway to start Barnes and to start Murphy. Now, going on, Anthony has played the game long enough to understand that the team is playing extremely well. Harvey Barnes and Jacob Murphy, 2 players in his position, are performing extremely well. At times like this as a player, as frustrating as it can be sometimes, you do need to put the shoe on the other foot and go, right, if I was that player performing that way, what would I expect? To stay in the team. There you go. So really, I think what the management team is saying there is, because some of these quotes are from Jason Tindall as well, what they're saying there is unity in that dressing room. And that's exactly what we need at this stage of the season. We don't want anybody rocking the boat or kicking off because they're not starting games. Now, one thing I was disappointed about yesterday was Joe Willock. He came off the field and was visibly annoyed that he came off. Now, there's a video of him coming into the dressing room as well, which I've put on social media. When all the players, when they walk past that camera before they go into the dressing room, they're buzzing. He looked like thunder. And what we don't want is anything upsetting this dressing room at such a crucial time in the season. I'm not saying it did, by the way. I'm just saying that he looked very unhappy. But to be fair, Joe Willock's got to perform, and he didn't perform yesterday. We got 10 minutes out of him before he came off as substitute. I don't think he was great the rest of the time, floating around the pitch again, not being very much involved. what are you supposed to do? I think it was a right decision to bring him off. And quite frankly, Miley did really well when he came on as well. But I think the unity is good in the dressing room, and it needs to be. But I think it's disappointing for Eddie that he can't really get more out of Anthony Gordon at the minute because of this niggling knee injury. And it could be a problem for the rest of the season. But let's just keep fingers crossed that Harvey Barnes and Jacob Murphy stay fit, because the way they're playing, I don't think Anthony Gordon would get a start anyway, which is crazy to say, but it's just fact, isn't it? Now then, Jason Tindall will miss the game at Brighton, or he certainly won't be in the dugout, because yesterday he received another yellow card, which means now he serves a touchline ban. Now, quite honestly, I didn't see it. I don't think anybody saw it. There was a little bit of a kerfuffle on the touchline. Jason Tindall wasn't happy with something with the fourth official, and the fourth official informed the referee, who came over and gave Jason Tindall a yellow card. Now, it's his third yellow card of the season, and that means a touchline ban. So he won't be there at Brighton. Now, this is a blow to me because Eddie Howe's just come back. Let's not forget that. Eddie's just come back from a pretty serious health issue, and he relies on Jason Tindall a lot during football games. You can see that. They've got a real tandem partnership going. It's been going for many, many years, of course, and the trust between the two. So Eddie's now going to have to turn to Graham Jones, who's next in line, of course. Graham Jones will be there. Graham Jones has done a fantastic job at Newcastle United. I think he doesn't get the plaudits that he deserves sometimes, but he's a very, very good coach, is Graham Jones. But Eddie Howe is absolutely baffled as to why he got the yellow card. It was apparently a verbal exchange, like I say, with the fourth official, and as a result, he now misses the trip to Brighton. Eddie Howe wasn't too happy. He couldn't understand why Tindall was cautioned, and believes officials are now trying to stop him from managing on the touchline. Of course, we know that Tindall is an active presence on the technical area for Newcastle, but I don't see a problem with that. I know that there was a rule saying only one person in the technical area, but sometimes Tindall's not in the technical area. He's just to the right of it, or just sort of between Eddie Howe and the dugout, of course. And nothing's been made of it when other clubs do it. But I think Eddie's now starting to feel like things are getting on top of Newcastle United to try and put them off. And we saw many comments yesterday coming in saying that the referee was a disgrace and all of that. And is that down to corruption and trying to stop Newcastle United getting in the Champions League again? And then you see the yellow cards being thrown out for that, and you think, well, has Eddie got a point? Eddie went on to say he was shown a yellow card, and it baffles me why, to be honest. I saw and heard everything. To a degree, I think it is aimed at trying to stop Jason managing. I was the one sitting back in the dugout, so I don't see the issue. So there you go. And that's what I was trying to say before. Eddie, yesterday, of course, spent some time sitting in the dugout. And we knew that was going to we knew that was going to happen with him coming back. So he wasn't going to stand up the whole game. And I don't see the problem. What if Eddie's sitting in the dugout? Why is Jason Tindall booked for being out in the dugout? And the technical area, it makes no sense. It's completely wrong. Howe tried to play down the significance of losing Tindall, and said players struggle to hear what managers and coaches were saying on the touchline anyway. But I think it's a disappointment. He said, yeah, but let's not over-egg it. The bigger blow would be losing a player. He is just there to support and help the players, and he will still be there. I think we over-egg the importance of the touchline, really, because the players can't hear what you're saying anyway. You think they can, but you can't. I was just pleased to lead the team and very pleased with how we played. So Tindall will miss... he'll be at Brighton, but he won't be on the touchline on Sunday. Now, there's a report out today basically just looking at potential players that could leave Newcastle United in the summer. It was written by Dominic Sir, who I've got a lot of respect for. He's a brilliant journalist, local journalist, of course. And he's basically talking about players that could potentially leave the club. What I was alarmed to see was... He puts in his report that The Athletic recently reported that Lascelles' extension runs until June 2026 rather than this summer, which we kind of knew about. But Callum Wilson is also understood to have an extension option in his current deal. Now, I think this if we gave Callum Wilson an extension to his contract, I think that would be criminal. We can all see that when he comes on the pitch now, that he is just knackered. He's not, well, maybe he could play at a lower level, but certainly not top end of the Premier League. He's not, his touch isn't there, he's got no pace left, and it's sad because Callum Wilson's been brilliant for us. Absolutely brilliant. But now you've got young Asula coming through and making a claim yesterday with a fantastic goal, of course. So, I don't know. I find it all bizarre if this extension's hanging around. It does go on to say that Newcastle face a decision whether to extend his stay this summer. But as high earner and not guaranteed starter, the striker could be on the move this summer. And I think if Callum Wilson wants to finish his career playing football, then he's going to have to move. It's as simple as that. It also goes on to say that Jamal Lewis obviously will be leaving the club. His contract ends. But then talks about Gillespie and, of course, John Ruddy. Now, I'd heard rumblings a few weeks ago that Gillespie was going to be offered another one-year deal, but of course we've heard nothing from the club about that. John Ruddy, for me, is a goalkeeping coach. And whether he stays on as coach, we'll have to wait and see. But it was just interesting. I mean, Callum Wilson, surely not. I mean, that would be the craziest thing I have ever seen in my life, given how much football he's missed and how it's took his toll. His body just doesn't move at the pace his brain wants it to. And you can see that on the pitch, which is unfortunate for Callum. But there comes a time when you have to cut ties, guys. You have to look forward. And I think certainly with Callum Wilson, that is the case right now. But there you go. That is your latest Newcastle United news. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And of course, please do subscribe if you are new to the channel. Completely free to do so. It's a fantastic community. Make sure you hit that notification bell though so you never miss an upload or a live show in the future. We'll catch you very soon. Take care.